Hello and welcome to New Frontiers on CCTV International. I'm Ji Xiaojun in Beijing. And today we're continuing our series, which we've called Chinese Civilization. In it, we set out to illustrate the evolution of Chinese civilization through an investigation of archaeological discoveries, historical sites, and cultural relics. In today's program, we're going back to the Sui and Tang dynasties, roughly the 7th, 8th, and 9th centuries. Now, this was a period during which China experienced particularly dynamic development. It is today recognized as one of the most brilliant eras in the history of Chinese civilization. Moreover, the building of the Grand Canal connecting China's north and south during the Sui dynasty encouraged unprecedented economic and social progress.
During the Sui and Tang dynasties, China went through a particularly dynamic period of development. As the country was being integrated, there were all kinds of innovations, while different schools of thought were improved upon and their teachings disseminated. There was unity among the nation's various ethnic groups, there was great stability throughout the country, and there was peace between China and foreign countries. Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism all coexisted peacefully, academic activities flourished, and literature and the arts in general developed more than ever before. It was a time of self-confidence in China, a time of inclusion and innovation. All in all, it was a brilliant era in the history of Chinese civilization. This is Baifu Spring. Water pours from the head of the stone dragon and then flows east through Tongzhou before emptying into the Grand Canal. This spring is, in fact, the northernmost source of water for the 2,000-kilometre-long Grand Canal. The Grand Canal was a great project of the ancient Chinese. It covered a very large area, was extremely practical, and had far-reaching significance for the Chinese people. Even today, the Grand Canal is open to navigation. The name Grand Canal suggests a single watercourse, but it actually consists of 4 canals. It stretches from Beijing all the way to Hangzhou in South China through the Yellow, Huaihe and Yangtze rivers. And it is true to say that after the Sui and Tang dynasties, the Grand Canal continued to drive development in China. China had remained divided for more than 280 years since the Wei and Jin dynasties. But then, in the year 589, the Sui dynasty reunified the nation. It had taken the Western Han dynasty 70 years and the reigns of 4 emperors to make the nation prosperous. But the Sui dynasty managed to make China prosperous again during the reign of its first emperor. It is recorded that under the reign of Emperor Yang, just 2 of the country's warehouses held 2,600 hectolitres of grain and tens of millions of bolts of cloth. All this grain and cloth lasted until the early years of the Tang dynasty, and from that time on, Chinese historians constantly praised the Sui dynasty for its prosperity. In the 1970s, archaeologists excavating the site of the Hanjia warehouse of the Sui and Tang dynasties uncovered storage facilities for large quantities of grain. After the Sui dynasty reunified China, it constructed a system of canals to connect China's north with its south. This 5,000-kilometre-long system began in the country's capital city Chang'an in the west, extended to Zhuozhun Prefecture in the north, and to Zhejiang Province in the south.
隋炀帝开凿的大运河，是在世界水利工程史上都是非常辉煌的一项水利工程。当时隋炀帝开凿大运河的时候，是利用了战国以来沟通黄河、长江水系的一些水道，在这个基础上进一步系统的修成了这样一套的运河。那这样运河对中国历史后来的发展产生了非常重大的影响和作用。在当时隋代和唐代，其中最重要的一个作用是，它充分保障了当时世界上最大的城市长安城的物质供应。
China's rivers mostly flow from the west to the east, and so before the Sui dynasty, the history of the Central Plains was told in events that took place from west to east. However, with the Grand Canal, China's north and south became integrated, and so from the time of the Tang Dynasty, the history of China began to be about events taking place from the south to the north.
到了唐朝，经过了几十年、上百年的发展以后，运河的经济、社会，也包括军事上的价值发挥出来了。江南地区开始发展起来了。那么，如何把江南的财富运到关中，运到首善之区长安？这个如果没有运河是不可想象的。所以，运河在沟通南北、经济文化的交流、维护国家的统一，具有非常重要的作用。
The Grand Canal stimulated unprecedented economic and social development during the Sui and Tang dynasties. The Grand Canal not only encouraged new towns to appear along its course, but, more importantly, from the middle of the Tang dynasty, it helped incorporate the Yangtze River Valley into the country's economic strategy, and it helped shift the focus of China's economic development from the north to the south. The Tang dynasty was founded in the year 618, and it ushered in a new era of Chinese civilization. After Li Shimin ascended the throne to become Tang Emperor Taizong, he changed the title of his reign to Zhenguan, and with that, the famous Zhenguan period began.
The Grand Canal, by connecting China's north and south, played a major role in economic and cultural exchange. Well, the country's prosperity, both commercial and cultural, would go from strength to strength under the Tang Dynasty, especially after Emperor Li Shimin ascended the throne.
Unity among China's various ethnic groups had been enjoyed since the Wei, Jin and southern and northern dynasties. But the political unification brought about by the Sui dynasty and the realignment of other factors led to vigorous social development. The Tang dynasty enjoyed political stability, its economy had recovered quickly, its people were happy, and social prosperity was increasing. The reunification of China was the greatest legacy of the Sui dynasty, but the dynasty also bestowed many other legacies for the Tang dynasty, most notably in the areas of the political framework, the administration of land, and the encouragement of an academic atmosphere. The Tang dynasty made use of and improved upon these fine legacies from the Sui dynasty. However, while it is true the Tang dynasty owed many of the favourable political and economic conditions to the Sui dynasty, the Tang court enjoyed popular support that the Sui dynasty never gained. In essence, the Zhenguan reign, or the reign of Tang Emperor Taizong, stressed the importance of the people as the foundation of the nation.
中国自古其实就有民本思想，这个商书里就有民为邦本， 本固邦林，到孟子的这个民贵君亲思想。这些思想虽然自古有之，但是唐太宗啊，我认为是实践的比较好的一个啊，他多次跟臣下讨论军民关系啊，军是舟，民是水，水能载舟，亦能覆舟。正是由于太宗呢有这样子的政治思想为指导，所以在他推行他的政策的时候，比较注重这个百姓的利益、百姓的感受，这样呢就形成了一个相对来说比较和谐的局面。
During the Sui dynasty, many cruel laws of the previous dynasties were abolished, and in the early years of the Tang dynasty, revisions were made to Sui laws. In the year 637, after more than a decade of preparation, the Tang dynasty introduced Zhenguan law, which stressed the importance of the life of the people. This law was further improved upon during the reign of Tang Emperor Gaozong to become China's first complete system of law. The most notable feature of the system of law was its humanitarian focus, which reflected the Tang civilization's stress on placing the people first. The civilization of the Tang dynasty was responsive to the demands, aspirations, interests and creativity of the people, and this can be seen as the most admirable aspect of Tang civilization.
唐律的特点是，可以说是以人为本啊，废除了过去那种比较严酷的肉刑这样子东西，特别是对死刑非常慎重。凡是判死刑的，这个最终审核权是在中央，而且必须要由皇帝上报皇帝上报中央，要亲自这个审核3次才能够判。